All right, so I want to say thanks so much for joining us. This is Ablee-Jay Media and Consultancy Incorporated, along with other media outlets that are set to relay. The Akone Radio is relaying. The Amblay is also going to relay this broadcast as well. So I want to say thanks. And all other stations that are going to relay, thanks for joining us. We are live today with a special interview with Grand Bassa County Senator in person of the Honorable Senator Milton Gbehzongar Findley. And we're going to talk on several issues relating to Grand Bassa and the nation as well. So if you are listening to us, keep glued and don't go away. Senator Findley, good morning. Welcome to this special interview.
Good morning, Elton, and good morning to the citizens of Bassa and your audience.
How are things been with you, since the election?
Well, since the elections, we've been in Monrovia. The first process was to form the government, confirmation process, as well as oversight responsibility of the government branches. Also, then the budget came in, which I chair the revenue committee, subcommittee on revenue. And after the budget process, we have to go into the process of oversight and looking at the audit reports. So we've been basically busy with those functions of the Senate and the legislature.
Great. It's good that you've been really engaged. For the past time, you've really been a bit quiet, probably been working. But let's look at your legislative engagements. Can you highlight, some of your legislative initiatives as a senator of Grand Bassa County for the past few months?
Well, yes, we did the budget. In the budget, we have included programs for the county and the district. In terms of development, legislative programs, executive programs, and projects. I also been elected chairman of the Bassa Legislative Caucus.
Mr. Congratulations.
Thank you. And we've had several engagements with the Port Authority, with Asal Metal, looking at some of the issues in the county that is confronting the citizens of Bassa. And how to mitigate some of these differences or issues. I've written a bill already, and I submitted a bill to the legislature, to the Senate.
What is that bill about?
We call it the time frame bill. The president, for positions that require confirmation, the president should be allowed 90 days to appoint people to act in those positions, and then after 90 days, they must be nominated for confirmation. So that bill is hopefully will come.
How is that going to help the Liberian population?
Well, you see, you got people who are presidential appointees who are supposed to be confirmed. If they're not confirmed, they can use public resources in any manner and any way they want to use it. And so that's the real reason why behind my bill, that you must be answerable to the people. Even though you are appointed by the president and the Constitution say you serve at the will and pleasure of the president, the Constitution doesn't say that in totality. It says you must be confirmed by the people. So if the people say no to you, you cannot be a minister.
Great. Let's look at your achievements and contributions to the legislature. What have you achieved in a short period of time since you took over in terms of the legislature?
Well, besides the legislation, I'm working presently on the Committee of Public Accounts and Audit. I co-chair that committee in the Senate. And if you have observed, we've been holding public hearings. So the committee in itself is working diligently. That's why I have not been on recess, because that committee has been by both houses mandated to stay on to continue public hearings, which we've been doing. In terms of oversight responsibility, we've had some communication as a caucus to the county, where we have instructed the county officials in terms of resources, which includes the scrap, the tailings, and logging, that those things that are county owned must follow the procedure and process of the PFM law, as well as the Public Procurement Act.
Great.
So we look forward to that in terms of exercising our constituency work. We've had several meetings with some of the constituencies. We have several individuals that we've given individual scholarships to, and promoting some of the projects that we made commitment to. For example, electrifying Buchanan City.
I was just coming to that. And how far are we on that?
We are working towards, it's a project that is ongoing. I think they have started it. We've done groundbreaking. The contracts have been awarded, so we look forward to pushing the companies that are supposed to do the planning as well as the implementation of.
How soon do the Bassa people expect the electricity specifically Buchanan and other parts?
Well, you already have current in 𝐒𝐞𝐧𝐚𝐭𝐨𝐫. The issue now is the transportation of current to the city, and I think that's where you will see activities
ongoing. Is there any progress?
There's a lot of progress. These things have to be procured. It's not something that is sitting on a shelf of stove that you can just go and purchase. It has to be ordered, it has to be manufactured, it has to be made and shipped to Liberia. So I don't, I'm not involved in the day-to-day activities of this company and the agency. But we can say maybe in the next year and a half, we should have current in Buchanan City, depending on how fast they work and how fast you can get the material in the country. So we're looking forward to that, but I can assure you work is being done towards that.
Back to the issues of the county, too many concerns being raised. And people might understand from you too, though you just took over. And GVC Bridge was like that before you took over. I'm also concerned about it. Have you done some level of oversight to know where's the delay coming from, do the public work, and made some commitments to have that done? We
made sure that in this budget, there's money in the budget for that bridge. Public Work made a presentation, and we have asked them to as a contractor, the bridge has already been contracted already. So we hope that the contractor can receive the funding for the work that has started and to complete the work. So we've done what we should do. You have the county administration that needs to follow up on these things. There's a new act now they call the Local Government Act, which gave all of the responsibility for projects, programs in the county to the county administration. Yes, we still have oversight. We're not supervisor, we cannot supervise them. And the county administration must go out and do its job. If they are having difficulties, they need to reach out to us. None of them have reached out to me for anything besides the city mayor.
Okay. You mean the entire superintendent and her team are not reached out?
No, there's nothing. I mean, they have not complained about anything. So which means that everything is ongoing in the county, is going well.
And what was the complaint of the city mayor directly?
No, not complain. I mean, that will always give briefing of the situation of the city and how whether we can help him or work along with him to get some of his programs going. There are a lot of challenges. The government is new. We're about 8 months into the government, and it takes time for things to pick up. Yeah.
You complained about dump truck over the past time. Are there plans, or are you working with him to have these things working out for the city to make it look good?
Well, yes. I can tell you that we have funds in the budget. Asal Metal has paid the Social Development Fund It is in the possession of government, and we intend to go after it in this budget process, which money that we receive in January have not been sent to the county. So it's been very unfair, and I can assure you that I am talking to the other 2 counties that we're going to make a demand that money be given to the county, because there's a lot of needs. And when that money comes, part of it should go for a dump truck for the city of Buchanan. I think the city mayor is struggling, and he needs some help. He needs some serious help to keep the city clean. In the absence of being able to lift the garbage, it becomes difficult.
Yes, because he's really going through a lot. Let's also still run into the issue about this city. Despite the social development fund, are you sparking out other opportunities, to have it helping the city as well with your, international experiences as well?
I've been doing a lot of outside traveling. We're trying to attract companies to come to Liberia and to go into the county, not necessarily the city of Buchanan, but to see Bassa as a county of interest where they can operate. Most of the companies wants to get involved in agriculture projects, and so we're trying to send them into Bassa. We hope that the port facility and the industrial free zone will take off. It's been many years since we've been trying to implement the industrial free zone in Bassa.
This brings me to the issue about economic development. The issue about job creation is actually key. Many of the young people who are in the counties, they lack job. At the end of the day, you see them to the Atari forums to keep themselves up. Are there plans to boost the issue about job creation, bringing more investments that will create jobs for the people?
That's the whole objective of some of the traveling I'm doing, is to see how I can get some of these connections that I have to come to Liberia. The first issue is to get them in Liberia. And as you know, you have a lot of issues. Most of these companies will not come with issues of corruption. And so we need to be able to address those issues of corruption that will give us a little bit more, open up the space for us. But the space is so tight right now that when you talk to people with all the news of corruption, and that's why we basically, the PAC committee, the legislature, is pushing the issue of getting these audits to the executive. Let the executive act on these audits, because it's not only hurting Monrovia, it's hurting the counties. Specifically for me, where I sit, is hurting Bassa. How do I create jobs? How do we get the young people that are trained, going to school, going to vocational training institute, and can't find anything to do? The only way to do that is to what? Bring companies in, investors in, that will invest in the county.
Great. Let's look at the iron ore tailings. I've been there for over 6 years or several years now, and another government passed. We still have that there. What is the plan of the county legislative caucus and the county authority to ensure that they can have a company coming up to have that functional create jobs?
Well, the tailings is an issue that, again, there have been some issue. Some people feel the legislature shouldn't have a say. They got oversight, and the tailings is going to be dealt with by the county officials. The fact of the matter is this.
Who is doing that?
The fact of the matter is this. That, look,
is it a superintendent?
Well, it should be the superintendent. You have a county council now. You have the local government act that is taking place, but they don't have the capacity to negotiate for such a major asset of the county. So yes, we need to be able to help them in a lot of ways, but basically going through a procurement process, and a procurement process that is going to be fair, equitable to the people of Bassa. Anything short of that, we will definitely use our oversight responsibility that we have and function that we have to say no. this is not going to happen. I mean, it's just not in the interest of
they're trying to do that themselves.
No, I mean, the thing is, like I say, until they come to me, or they come to the caucus, or they come to, I don't know, Senator Lawrence,
there's
or
any announcement already up, you know.
That's good.
Are you in know of it?
No, but that's what we want to hear.
But you're the caucus chairman.
Oh, of course. I mean, my issue is, I wrote them to say follow the PFM law and the Public Procurement Act. So that is the beginning process of their responsibility.
Are you aware of an MOU with the caucus right now?
MOU?
From the 𝐅𝐢𝐧𝐝?
No, there was an MOU that thing was sent, which I think existed. But I think that MOU was very unfair to the citizens of Bassa.
Okay.
And I don't know who did it, but I think it's been cancelled by the court. If that's the one you're referring to, I think the court have nullified it and is no longer in existence.
Okay, I think that's good. So hoping that they can follow those procedures. But the job creation still remain very key. Let's look at the ArcelorMittal Liberia expansion that is pending. You know, have you also had some conversation with them surrounding the young people and how they can create more jobs for Bassa?
Well, we did have a brief conversation with the new MD and the outgoing manager. And those were some of the issues that we had discussed. How can you give more opportunities to the citizens of Bassa, especially the youth, to be able to earn some income? And the new MD or the new manager coming in is saying that, look, we're looking to that. You know, there's so much we can do, but one company cannot do it all.
Okay.
We have to bring new investors, new capital, investment capital into the county. There's no way to create more jobs, but new things, new company coming in. It's a difficult thing, but I believe that we are working towards that, and I believe that something could happen in that direction.
Great. You know, this is good. But I'm also a bit concerned, Senator, as it relates to creating jobs in Grand Bassa, in Liberia. But I'm focused on Grand Bassa because they're exactly where you come from as a senator, and they made you to become the senator. There is this thing about making the Port of Buchanan to stand on its own. Let me put it in that way. You know, how do you see it?
Look, I have to be realistic about it. The autonomy of all ports in Liberia to be able to stand on their own. From my view, you need substantial investment into these ports. So if you're on your own, you still need the Port of Buchanan will probably, to really get it going, you're probably looking around anywhere between $15 to $100 million, depending on what you want there. So it may not be a bad thing, but it may not be a good thing. I have not really gone into studying I know there's a bill floating. I have not seen it. I have not read it. Nobody have referred to me. In fact, this is the first time anybody referring to me directly about activities in the Port of Buchanan. You know, I'm the senator of Bassa, and people think they will go to Bassa and do what they want to do there without me.
Are people sending bills in for that?
Well, I haven't seen any bill.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I've heard rumors, but nobody have really spoken to me about the autonomy of the Port of Buchanan. Maybe they don't. Maybe I'm not important enough to have that discussion with me. But like I say, they will. It's Bassa. It's an asset in Bassa. It's a state asset in Bassa, and we will look at what will come forth. If it's in the best interest of the Bassa people, I will support it. If it's not in the best interest of the Bassa people, I will not support it.
But looking at it from your own perspective as a senator and someone who has been into government for a couple of years, do you see that as something that could benefit Grand Bassa?
Of course, the port, if you improve the Port of Buchanan, you augment it and you can get container vessels into the port of Buchanan. Of course, you'll be competing with the Monrovia port, which means that you can get in Buchanan City, you have commerce, you have trade that is going to increase. So you're going to create an economic environment for commerce and trade.
Okay.
Not only port activities, but around those port activities, you have more commerce and trade. You have more vehicles going in. You have more need. More people want to eat, which means more restaurant, which means the market women will sell more greens, more palm nuts, more bitter ball, more pepper. And that's part of the commerce. So we would love to see that port, whether it's by autonomy or by the National Port Authority, under the auspices of the National Port Authority, improve and vessels can come in. We have to be able to, you have to make it commercial, the commercial part, to be able to say that you can make money and generate money from it.
Great. I think it's going to be a good thing if it is looked into from, the real standpoint and not a political standpoint. But let's forge ahead. I'm still concerned the issue about health, within a county. Let's talk about it a bit. The Liberian Government Hospital project is ongoing. Have you done follow up on that?
We've written for information on all projects in the county. A lot of money was spent, government money, the people's money was spent on projects in the county. And there are companies that took money and have not completed the project, have not completed the project, some of the projects to the percentage of completion where they should be places. Yeah. So we've asked for the information, and that information have to come. The government hospital project that is ongoing is being done. I think this portion is being done by Asal. We've had some discussion with Asal to see, instead of waiting for government to bring its portion because there are challenges, we want you to just complete the whole project, and then we can start to look at revenue, but bidding for whatever you spend. Once we can agree on the amount where you should spend. So those are things that are ongoing in the background, work are ongoing on that.
Okay. It's $3.5 million looking at the plans, or the current structure. Do you think it's suitable for Grand Bassa?
Well, it's better than what we have now.
Okay.
And I believe that there's room for improvement and there's space. The land is big, and so you can always improve on what we have.
While it is true that the project is ongoing, it's going to take some time to have the hospital being relocated that way. The current condition of Liberian Government Hospital, I'm concerned, do we have some money in the budget, or there's any increment in the budget for Liberian Government Hospital in Buchanan? Looking at the number of people, the influx of people at the hospital.
Well, there are funds for government hospital in Buchanan. Not adequate in my mind, not enough to run that facility. However, there's funds there. I'm waiting right now for the outturn of the expenditure of government over the last 8 months. We have the full recast budget before us, and so we need to see the outturn and how much they have pumped into the hospital. I don't know, because the hospital administrator have not called on the caucus, have not called on me, neither have the county health officer giving us any information or feedback of what is happening.
Do you think that should be the right way to do?
Well, you have a representative, and if a public facility is not functioning well, it is incumbent on the administrator, the head administrator, including the county superintendent, to inform the legislature who has oversight over the budget process. That's what happens.
Do you see that's a problem?
I haven't heard from any of them.
So you see that's a problem.
So as a senator that served on the Ways and Means Committee, who should know?
But what did the team put into the budget? I mean, the lawmakers for the Liberian Government Hospital.
I think we got about $300,000 in there.
Talk about 300,000.
300,000. I think there was another 100,000, 150,000, but I'm not sure. I think I've been reading the recast budget. I think there's some deduction from that amount. So we will look into it in this coming week. I just received the recast budget, so I've read part of it, and so we hope that they are getting the funds that they're supposed to have gotten.
So that means they should be able to run that place.
That if they've given the funds to them, if they have not gotten the funds,
but they're not reaching out now.
No, but they need to start to take their responsibility serious. Who are they talking to? You got a problem in the county, and you're not talking to your lawmakers. I think everybody feels that because of this new local government act, everybody is equal, and so until they understand their role and our role under this new act, it's going to be a problem. I think the act needs to be amended, which I'm also reading, but I think there's a need for it to be amended. Because when you say county council is not elected by the people. So they have absolute zero responsibility to the people. Superintendent is not elected. Absolute zero responsibility to the people. They answer to what? The executive. And we have to have oversight over the executive. If the executive, the central government is not doing enough for the local government, we need to know and how to address that. But if you sit there and say, well, you cannot talk to Findley, you cannot talk to Matthew Joe, you cannot talk to Goswa, you cannot talk to Banks, you cannot talk to Bunny, and you will get away with it, you are joking. It's not going to happen. You're going to have problems because we have to approach it holistically as both the executive and the legislature. To effect changes, to effect development, you need both groups to work together.
Great. So let's forge ahead. The issue about health is still key. I remember during the inauguration, President Joseph Boakai said the issue about drugs was a national health emergency. In Grand Bassa, per my own survey, my personal survey, you got up to 1,000 of disadvantaged. You got up to 1,000 disadvantaged youths, and some of them are even dying in the streets of Buchanan. Now, do we have a plan of fighting this national health emergency that is hampering not just only Grand Bassa but the entire country?
I will say this, and I have to say this and be honest. I am part of the opposition bloc. I caucus with the opposition. I'm independent, but I do caucus with the opposition. And this is the reason why I'm opposition. Because you have a major part of your program, government program, and you have the entity that's supposed to address drugs, illicit drugs into the country, headless, no leadership, no administrator, nobody is there for more than 3 months. It's just irresponsible. Nobody does that. If it's a major program, let it work. That's one aspect. That's on the aspect of the supply of drugs into the country, bringing in the drugs, being able to check it. Then you have on the other side, how do we mitigate and treat those youngsters that are involved in this menace that have grabbed our society? That's the Ministry of Health. Portion, money, facility needs to be put into it. Whatever little has been put into it, I think it's been a challenge for the country. So we need to do more, and that is incumbent on all of us. It's not only the executive, but all of us need to look at this program. Then, of course, you have how do we rehabilitate them, train them to get them back into the society so that they become productive citizens. Part of the problem that most of these young kids are doing drugs because, like you said, no jobs, no means to educate themselves to go to school. And so we need to do more in that direction, rehabilitating them, treating them, and then rehabilitating them back into the society.
Let's touch the last 2 points and then we can have you running. I'm also a bit concerned about your community engagements with your people. Have you started that? Or do you have plans for?
I did one or two. I think I probably have done about 3 engagements. And then, of course, I would have done some more on this break, but we stayed behind to continue to work on the public accounts and audit. There are a lot of audits that are out there. As you're aware, the central bank audits have just come out, compliance audit, Ministry of State, the Liberian Senate, fisheries, and the EPS audits. So those audits we'll be looking at maybe next week or this week. We also have 100 and something audits that we need to basically look into and get to the executive as quickly as possible.
Then this brings the Bassa audit, Grand Bassa audit. Are you following?
I haven't been following. You see, I have no comment. Once there's an audit ongoing, as a lawmaker, I also serve on that audit committee that the audit will come to. I don't make comments on it. I like to see it happen. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not into speculation. Let the audit go on. Let the audit be completed, and then brought forth.
Okay. Senator, just to bring you to speed on this, what's your future goals, and priorities for the county in upcoming years of your term?
Well, I would like to see Bassa being the county where the world will look at and say, this is a place where we want to live. This is This is a county of opportunity, a county that produced the best minds, a county where businesses will want to put their investment and go into Bassa to help themselves as well as help the citizens of Bassa.
Okay. Now, on your personal commitment, Senator, can we say that is expected to happen or is happening already?
Well, we are working towards it. There's a lot of things that one will say you need to do. I'm in 2 governments as I sit. This is the second starts after the second starts 2030, and we hope that before we can leave the Senate, we would have had an impact on the county and made an impact in terms of human development as well as economic development for Bassa.
Great. Just to close up, let me bring out this issue about the president 100-day delay rules. You as a senator, have you done some follow-up on that, and how will you grade that in wrapping up?
I've already graded it 0%.
So you're grading the president's work.
The 100 days is over. I'm watching, hearing cars getting stuck to the areas where they shouldn't have gotten stuck. So that 100 days deliverable, in my opinion, is a failure. 0. You still have drugs moving in the country. I don't see much happening. Maybe it was too early to predict 100 days. I think it should have been more than 100 days to have given the government an opportunity, a chance to be formed and then form policies that will implement the 100 days deliverables. But that wasn't the situation, in my opinion, and I don't see much was done in the 100 days.
Okay, so now what do you expect to see in the next couple of days, despite you've graded in 0 in?
Well, I'm in the legislature. I'm not in the executive, and I have oversight responsibility. It's not the executive function to implement.
And questioning the public minister who had a $22 million budget for the roads, and cars are still getting stuck.
Well, it's the same 100 days deliverable that they were boasting about, but 100 days deliverable meant in my mind that after 100 days, this road will be fixed, which means it will be able to apply during the rainy season for the next 2-3 years before we can really, and that was immediate intervention, immediately intervening in the roads projects. That was terrible. But we're finding out that yes, there was some intervention, but those interventions were cosmetic.
Okay.
It was only cosmetic. You painted over it, and then and so we're seeing the effect now. So the 100 days was basically zero because.
Are you saying it because you did not support Ambassador Juan?
No, I'm saying it because I've supported this government all through. I have not voted against any of the nominees because I believe it's up to the president to decide who he wants. If they fail, it's up to him. If they succeed, he gets the credit. If they fail, he gets the credit for their failure. And so he's nominating them. And so I've worked along with them to basically give them that opportunity. They're Liberians also, so you give them the opportunity to perform. If they don't perform, it's up to him to decide what he wants to do.
So, like for Grand Bassa, do you have some say in the appointments that go on?
Unless the president asks me to make recommendations.
Have you done any?
He has not asked me to make any recommendation. I have not made any recommendation. He have not asked the caucus. There's no request to the caucus to make recommendations, so the caucus will not make recommendations. I do have under the Constitution conforming powers, and so I will exercise those powers based on my belief of character of individuals in the county.
All right, Senator, what else I did not ask you like to touch, as we close up this morning?
Well, look, I think you touch everything, but what is critical right now is to see how we can start the process of getting the young people something to do. Work is critical on my list. That bringing new investment to Bassa is essential. We have to do that.
Have you gotten some already?
I've talked to 1 or 2 companies. The big issue is, these companies will not only just say, come to Bassa, they have to come to Liberia. And Liberia investment incentives have to look good. There are a lot of issues with the judiciary, the court system. The executive have to basically make the environment for business to attract businesses to Liberia is heavily dependent on the executive. So even if we find a company that wants to come and their board feel, well, look, Liberia is not attractive now, it's going to be a problem. I think that's some of the issues that we have to grapple with and deal with. But however, I think we will be able to get 1 or 2 companies over the next 2-3 years to come in. There are some people who have come in and taken a look already.
Okay. Well, it was nice having you this morning, and hope that we can have more of these conversations to have the view of Bassa brush to, your workings in the Liberian Senate. Thanks again.
Thank you, Elton, and thanks to your audience and the citizens of Bassa. May God continue to bless them.
Thanks so much. This has been a special interview with Senator Findley. Those of you that will watch this video later on, you can share. And those of you that will also listen to it on the radio later, I also want to say thanks for being there. My name is Elton Tia, and Ghana controls the camera. Bye-bye.